Hey guys, it's the Gundam Boy, and today we're going to be taking a look at the most questionable weapon in the game. And this sparks from when a commenter on an older video talking about all the plasma weapons, well, to keep it short, said it was underrated and that I was testing it unfairly. So, we will take a look at how to use the weirdest gun in Helldivers 2. So, a little bit of history about this gun. This was a weapon that was given for free when there's the Helldivers 2 crossover with Killzone, which sported a lot of anger from Helldivers community.
It doesn't fit the game!
No, that was horrendous though. That was way too much super credits. The accelerator rifle though, in its own game, does sport a burst and the same amount of firing, so I mean, the gun is pretty on point for what it came off of. Though it doesn't translate very well over to the Helldivers 2's style of gameplay. But before we get into what I think and we cover this weapon, let's take a look at what everybody else thinks about this weapon on a YouTube post I put on my community. Damage drop off for a sniper rifle is insane. Not a sniper rifle, its economy's ass, and it's set to permanent burst. That fact that this gun has balls to call itself a sniper is abysmal. Very cool conceptually, and it can definitely be fun to use, but it desperately needs a buff. It needs to not flinch enemies until the third bolt so they don't dodge 2/3 of the damage. It also needs more ammo, and a much slower damage fall off. I tell you my thoughts on the weapon, however, I'm busy reloading. That much damage drop off on a sniper rifle is like putting a large scope on a shotgun with slugs. So while that might not be the right foghorn sound effect, the common thing that I see people complain about for this gun is that it has lack of ammo, poor handling, damage drop off, and it's a burst fire. Getting right into it, we see that this gun has 350 damage, a capacity of 9, 3 recoil, and a 550 fire rate. It has medium armor pen and explosive.
Oh, but Gundam Boy, those stats look good for a
Don't
gun.
be fooled so easily, my dumb little On the Helldivers 2 wiki, it notes that this gun's damage fall off is pretty bad, losing 36% of its damage at 25 meters, 53.4% at 50 meters, and 68% at 100 meters. So if you look at the math behind it, which I hate, doesn't look very good for this sniper, and someone on the server came to the conclusion that it goes up to 540 damage, but you know, I'm not a mathematician. Yeah, we're just gonna take that sniper title away from you. This weapon does still technically do more damage than other weapons, but if you're using it in the field, it definitely doesn't feel like it. So we're starting off at a pretty good spot, keeping enemies close to range so you don't lose any damage fall off for a sniper rifle. Arrowhead, if you need some help making weapons, you know, you could hire me for free. Just give me super credits or something, I don't know. So looking at the gun in game, we have a scope range of 50 to 100 to 200. This gun shoots in a burst of 3, and you got a magazine of 9 bullets, so 9 shots, 3 bursts, and here's the gun's drag when you aim, which is pretty hefty. If aiming with the eruptor was dragging my nuts against the asphalt, then aiming this weapon is like dragging my nuts against the lava. Looking at loadouts first, because this gun needs as much help as it can get. We were going to be using either Siege Ready for ammo, or if the handling is what drives you insane, Peak Physique. I would recommend the light armor so that you'd be able to quickly disengage from certain enemies, because God knows you're not going to outrun them in that heavy-ass armor. So to extend your combat time and make your teammates feel less annoyed when you need to call down a resupply, Supply Pack can be a good option for keeping you in the fight longer. Just don't share your ammo because you're going to need it. The Hover Pack can be a good option for getting a high vantage point in combat situations, though due to the amount of ammo you'll have to come down eventually. So, keeping this in mind, you'll have to go up there, pick as many shots as you can, and come down. If you're not in a map where you can abuse something like high ground, Jump Pad can be a great alternative for getting some distance between you and those enemies. Since snipers pick off enemies or just slow them down, stratagems like the grenade launcher or the HMG can be good options for firefights where the sniper doesn't cut it anymore. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys would pair with this weapon. I know it's a really strange one to consider because I don't know how many people I've seen in the past week touch this gun. I have not seen one person play with it. In a team dynamic, you will typically want to hang back, picking off all the enemies you can to the best of your ability. Because this gun sucks. But I'd recommend you try to find the high ground or a vantage point to better pick off enemy units. When it comes to the enemy factions, the bots are the best place to use this gun, except for on rushdown constellations where there's a shit ton of berserkers rush. On the Illuminate front, it does alright. It can splash damage on the vote list, so grouping them together is a good option for getting a good kill, and it can reliably kill things like Overseers meters in 2 shots. But I wouldn't recommend this for headhunting the flying guys, especially if they're already on the chase, because the drag on this gun can make it pretty painful to want to aim for them. And going against the bugs, where it fares the worst. It needs the most range you can get, as the enemy's main attack is walking up to you and shredding you apart, which is not ideal for a sniper, by the way. Getting shredded apart? Yeah, no. But after using this gun as much as I did, I just wouldn't even recommend bringing it to a level 8, as I felt like a drag on my teammates for having no real combat capabilities with my primary. But if you like sniping enemies but you don't want to use this gun, I do have a few alternative choices. So we have the Deadeye, which has consistent damage, more ammo, better handling at the cost of it being round reloaded and having to realign the gun's sights for the next shot after you crank that shit. It's just an overall more reliable gun that if you want to see more about, I do have a video specifically talking about the Deadeye. If you're looking for something that's just reliable and good for shooting at long ranges, then the Diligence has more ammo, better handling, or you can get the Counter Sniper, which has a bit more weight to the weapon, but more stopping power and longer range capabilities. Now, if you're wanting to become the ultimate headhunter, I recommend you my Gym Sniper build. Using the Scythe, this gun has no damage fall off with monstrous range capabilities. And the handling is just so perfect for precision shots, make you like a laser surgeon. Using this with the hover pack makes it really easy to just camp on top of buildings, just ripping to shreds whatever comes nearby. And it practically has infinite ammo as long as you don't let that heat sink explode. And long enough exposure to the laser sets the enemies ablaze. And the AMR, which is an obvious answer, especially if you're looking for more options in killing heavier enemies. And the commenter that said that it was unfair of me to compare this weapon's poor killing capabilities when it comes to crowds, because it's a sniper, is kinda dumb in my opinion, because Helldivers is about getting swarmed into literal hell of enemies. Yes, I would like to know if my gun can handle fighting in crowds, because you know what? In Helldivers, you're gonna be ending up in a crowd fight, unless you're playing on level 1 like a baby. For some reason, you'd think a burst sniper rifle would be a good idea, but when it shakes the enemies as much as it does, it really doesn't feel like a good gun. Which, I mean, it kills a Devastator in 2 bursts. But then you can only fire 1 extra burst before you have to reload. I'm not saying it has to rip ass like the Stalwart, I just mean like the AMR was more capable of going target to target to target than it is compared to the Plasma 39. Going back to when I was talking about the Voteless and saying that the Plasma actually splashes against several enemy units, the Purifier does that in 1 shot. This sniper needs a lot of buffs, like give it less drag, it's an energy weapon, right? While the weight. Give it more ammo, because 8 mags with only 9 shots each is kinda crappy, especially when you think about Constitution users who must drop ammo like Sonic drops rings when they explode. The Accelerator Rifle isn't that great of a gun. It gets outclassed by a lot of different weapons in a lot of different categories. It's not the best plasma weapon. It's not even a good sniper, but I'd like to see what you guys think. So leave it in the comments down below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and maybe join my Discord server, because you know, YouTube doesn't always like to say when I'm posting things, because I'm not like, you know, pertaining to the algorithm, whatever. But you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna go make a Monster Hunter guide. Oh, Flint and Steel! Oh, Flint and Steel! Jake and Jackie. Ah!